In our previous Why You Need Powerful Lights for Filmmaking videos, we took a look at some scenarios in which a more powerful lighting fixture can be extremely useful when used in conjunction with natural light, situations which a less powerful light might not be able to compete with. In this video, we'll take a look at Nanlite's Forza 720B, an 800-watt bi-colour point source light, and a few situations where this combination of flexibility and output can help you when lighting your images. The Forza 720B, although not quite as bright as its daylight-only counterpart, the Forza 720, is currently one of, if not the, brightest bi-colour point source lights in this price range on the market. So not only do we have the power to compete with daylight and light large areas, we also have the capability to match other light sources, or create specific looks, without having to deal with the hassle of colour correction gels. It's simply a case of adjusting a dial on the control box, or slider in the Nanlite app. Here we have our subject stood in a kitchen. The sun has recently set, and you can see the cool evening light coming through a window in the background, and our subject is being lit by these halogen tubes. But in reality, it's daytime outside, an overcast day, as is common here in the UK. There's a small window hatch just in front of our subject, through which our key light is placed. This is our Forza 720B, firing through the inner baffle of an octobox. And although it's at a different angle to our halogen tubes, it's still working as a motivation for them, appearing as if the key light is coming from the tubes themselves and lighting a larger area. Both the power output and bi-colour functionality of the 720B were vital in creating this shot. Originally, our shot looked like this. We'd already blocked off the majority of the light coming through the hatch, but you can see how much exposure we're getting from the daylight coming through the back window and other windows in the room. So the first step was to underexpose this daylight, using ND filters on our camera to have it appear more like evening. Then we turned our practicals on. But they're a little more overexposed than we'd like, and we're not quite getting the contrast we want between the background ambience and the practical lights. We'd like our daylight to be even darker, with deeper shadows on our subject. And since these practical lights aren't on a dimmer, and we have no way to use neutral density gel on them safely, we once again took the exposure down in camera. Now the exposure on our practicals is nicely controlled, and since we've darkened the natural light from the window even further, we have the deep, moody shadows we wanted, with a touch of cool, evening light in the background. This is actually quite a dramatic looking, moody shot, simply using the practicals as a key, but it's a little dark, and our intention was to light more of our subject for more of an obvious hero shot, but retaining some of this dark mood. And this is where our 720B comes in. Think about how much we've darkened this image using the ND filters on our camera. But the Nanlite is able to output enough power through diffusion to light our scene, allowing us to overpower both the natural light and the practicals, motivating the practicals, and giving us more control over the contrast ratios in our shot. And there was no need for colour correction gels to match these warmer practical tubes. We simply adjusted the temperature on the light itself. This functionality and flexibility allowed us to create the image that we had in mind. Now, it wouldn't be impossible to do this with a weaker light. We could have put ND gel on the background windows and connected our practical lights to some sort of dimmer. But if you're working on a budget or in a tiny team, you might not have the time or expertise to control the scene externally in this way. Adding a powerful light to the mix means we can control it internally by altering the way our camera is capturing the image, using ND filters. In our second setup, we have our subject sitting down on the sofa with a splash of evening sunlight gently shining into the room, creating a moody sunset feel. Let's take a look at the window from our subject's point of view. There's the sun, but it looks more like a reflection of the sun than the sun itself, and that's correct. We've actually brought a cheap acrylic mirror board, glued on a cheap monitor mount to mic stand, attached a mic stand to light stand adapter, and screwed on a light stand spigot. This spigot can then be clamped into a grip head, and our mirror can be rotated and raised a good distance from our window to reflect not the sun, but our Forza 720B with its compatible projection mount. As our mirror was at the wrong angle for our sun to hit it, the 720B stood in, projected in a parallel beam at the mirror, which was directed and adjusted into a natural-looking subtle patch of sunlight where our subject sat in the shot. Since we already had daylight outside to fill in our shadows, we underexposed and used it as fill light, then added our 720B and mirror into the scene, which gave us enough output to overpower the daylight and make for a natural-looking blend of soft and hard light. The bicolor function of the Forza allowed us to choose exactly how warm we wanted the sun to be, creating a realistic color contrast between the cool sky and warm sun. The mirror also helped us to position our key light at a height and distance we wouldn't have otherwise been able to reach. As far as the reflection in the mirror is concerned, our light is actually all the way over here, in a much higher position than we could get using a regular stand, in a location we wouldn't even be able to put a stand, and the heavy Forza and projection mount setup remains easily accessible to us, lower to the ground. Now there are downsides to using hard light with a DIY mirror setup like this when used outdoors. You need a very still day to prevent any wind catching the mirror, rocking your stand and shaking your light. This could perhaps be solved with a sturdier combo or wind-up stand, and utilising a more rigid reflector system like the Ellis light bridge, but these tools also come with a price tag. However, since the mirrored reflection extends the apparent distance of our light, using mirrors indoors is also a great cheap solution for creating natural distance to your hard light. But that's a topic for a different video. Powerful lights are great for lighting larger areas. This isn't actually sunset. The real sun set about 15 minutes ago. But by using our 720B, we can take advantage of blue hour and place our sunset where we need it for the scene. And since we have bicolor, we can select the best color temperature for this sunset, which should be pretty warm in the situation we're replicating. We chose a wooded location where we could light slightly downhill, giving us a slight height and coverage advantage, allowing us to light more of the area, and therefore show more of the area on camera. We used the two V-mount attachments on the side of the 720B's control box and worked with two 26V V-mount batteries. This allows us to power the light to 65%, which gives us roughly the output of a Forza 500 at full power, but with the advantage of bicolor. Attached to our 720B was the compatible FL20G Fresnel lens, set to a relatively wide beam angle. This allowed us to cover a larger area whilst directing our light output into more of a parallel beam, making our sunlight look more realistic, as if it's much further away in the sky. We caught a little soft glare into the lens from the light on the side of frame, which actually aided in making the transition of colour and light in the sky appear more realistic also, and to push this happy accident a little further, we added a very subtle warm graduation across the section of sky closest to the sun in post-production. Although we shot a wide here, the area of light coverage means we could easily shoot a closer shot of our subject moving through the scene. This is another situation in which having a powerful light and being able to light a larger area becomes very useful. The Forza 720B represents another development in more affordable, powerful, yet flexible lighting fixtures for filmmaking, allowing smaller teams or even one-man band image makers to light for scenarios that would have been extremely difficult even just a few years ago. And as more affordable lighting technology pushes on, expect something even more powerful and beneficial for image making in part 4 of our Powerful Lighting for Filmmaking series. Support my channel on Patreon and get extra lighting and shoot breakdowns, along with early, ad-free and extended YouTube videos. I color grade my work using Dehancer. Use my code ROBELLIS to get 10% off. Parts 1, 2, 4 and 5 of my Lighting with Colour mini course are on YouTube now, but you can also download it all with an exclusive Part 3 at my website. Or become a patron and stream the 46-minute tutorial in full. I use music from AudioSocket in my videos. Click my referral link in the video description and use the code ROBELLIS when you sign up for a free month of the best and most diverse range of stock music available. Use my code ROBELLIS over at Zyro to get up to 71% off your website or storefront, with 3 extra months free, along with a custom domain for a year. I use ArtGrid for stock footage. Get an extra 2 months free when you sign up using my link in the video description.